This is the DTNT Movie Nation.
The history of the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew mystery. Who are the stars of the show and where are they now? A roundtable discussion of the TV shows and movies of that era. I'm Jerome Turman, and this is the Movie Nation.
This is the DTNT Movie Nation.
Hello everyone, I'm Jerome Turman.
And I'm Anjanette Milnerich. Thank you for joining us.
In this edition of the Movie Nation, we will take you behind the scenes and into the world of the Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew mysteries.
We will also shine the historical light on the beloved Shaun Cassidy and all the other stars of the show.
It's an in-depth look at the rise and fall of the great mystery series, The Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew.
All that and more on this edition of the Movie Nation. And now here's Nancy Tresco with a brief history of the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew.
The Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew mystery books turned television show caused great excitement and tremendous suspense to the many fans in the 70s and is still remembered today. In 1977, the highly successful mystery novels were turned into a television series that aired until 1979. The show started by alternating the Hardys and Nancy Drew mysteries. After a while, the two storylines were combined until Nancy Drew was drastically decreased and entirely eliminated from the show. The television series was so successful that it was nominated for an Emmy Award. Die-hard fans on the show can thank the incredible cast for taking them on an exhilarating adventure with Parker Stevenson and Shaun Cassidy as the detective brothers Frank and Joe and Pamela Sue Martin as Nancy Drew.
Well, what are we going to use it for? To set a trap.
Now back to Jerome and Angie with our inside story of our wonderful mystery stars.
The stars of the show take center stage in this edition of our Hollywood Headliner.
We will dive into their lives and shine the glow of the Movie Nation spotlight into the stars of the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew mysteries. Frank Hardy was played by actor Parker Stevenson. The American-born actor studied architecture at Princeton University and had no intention of pursuing a career in the film and television industry. However, Hollywood beckoned and he answered the call and ended up in show business.
If you lay one hand on those bags, you're going to be lying on your back checking out the ceiling.
Miss Drew, may I remind you that you're meddling in our father's case.
What most people don't know is that Parker Stevenson is not his real name. The actor was given the name Richard Stevenson Parker by his parents, but he was not able to use his birth name as a screen name because someone else had registered it with the Screen Actors Guild. So he had to settle for Parker Stevenson. After the series ended, the Hardy Boys star had two kids, a son named William True Stevenson in '92 and a daughter named Lily Price Stevenson in '94.
16 and state school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I bought a guitar, I got the fever, that's rock and roll.
Arguably the most loved actor of the show was Shaun Cassidy. While still in high school, Cassidy was already a superstar thanks to his contract with Warner Brothers. The teenage pop star sold over 3 million albums for the label. But that was only the beginning of his career.
Well, come on, everybody, get down and get with it.
He would then go on to star on the mega hit series, which we are highlighting today, The Hardy Boys Mysteries. The show gained him even more popularity. However, he never abandoned his musical career and started singing with several tour bands as well. Shortly after the production of the show, Cassidy focused on theater and starred in several shows like Mass Appeal, Bus Stop, and Blood Brothers. The shows had Cassidy performing for more than a year on Broadway. While invested in theater, Cassidy learned about playwrights and gained an interest in writing. He wrote his first show, American Gothic, before shifting his gears behind the screen as a writer and showrunner. Cassidy has since written and produced many recognizable television shows, including Roar, Cover Me, Cold Case, The Agency, Invasion, and Hysteria. While being successful in his career, Cassidy was also able to start a family of his own with his wife Tracy and their 4 children.
Like Sean Cassidy, Pamela Sue Martin was already famous before she joined the show, starring in many commercials and various Hollywood films.
And where have you been? I've been worried about you.
Her inspiring story begins with an ambitious mindset where she followed her friend to model in New York so she could earn more money than she was making in a hamburger stand. In 1972, Martin auditioned for a role in the '72 film To Find a Man. The producers took 3 months to make a decision. In the end, Martin was cast as the female lead even though she didn't have any training in the field. Because of the outstanding performance she had, the producers cast her in the Poseidon Adventure, alongside 5 Academy Award-winning actors and actresses. Projects started flowing in for Martin. She starred in the films The Girl of the Huntington House, Buster and Billy, The Hemingway Play, and The Strong Medicine, among many others. She was then offered the role of Nancy Drew on her mystery show with the Hardy Boys. Martin beat out several major actresses, including Jamie Lee Curtis, to get the part. Martin helped make the series a huge success. However, citing financial costs, ABC forced the producers to focus more on the Hardy Boys and less on Nancy Drew. ABC claimed that the Hardy Boys were getting better ratings, and it's safe to say that the higher ratings were probably due to the success of Cassidy's recording career. Within the first 13 episodes, Nancy Drew was only featured in 7 episodes. The first 4 in crossover appearances, and the final 3 in solo episodes. After the network decided against Nancy Drew's solo episodes, Martin left the series. She was replaced by Janet Louise Johnson for the remainder of the season, before the character was dropped altogether. She has since become an advocate for the environment, joining groups such as Greenpeace and the Sierra Club. She's also the national spokesperson for the Wild Horse Sanctuary.
All good things must come to an end. In 1979, the series was abruptly canceled. According to the cast and crew members, this was due to ABC's attempting to garner better ratings in that time period. This ultimately failed, and after ratings declined significantly, it took years for the network to recover. Executives later stated the network had cancellation remorse. Parker Stevenson said that years later, an ABC executive said his biggest mistake was canceling the Hardy Boys. Now for a blast of the past as we create a music video from the hit song of the 70s, Staying Alive, to the Hardy Boys' Nancy Drew Mysteries TV show.
What are you doing in this room?
Isn't that our line? Mr. Mayor, you're meddling in our business. Meddling?
Good kid, you can handle it.
That went in my face. Okay, you're good, you're good. In our Straight from the Heartbeat segment of the show, we'll look at the horrific life.
The horrific?
stars aligned to make an appearance on the Nancy Drew Hardy Boys Mystery TV series. A number of well-known actors appeared on the show, either as celebrity guest stars or before they achieved future fame. Celebrities who appeared on the episodes include singer Ricky Nelson, Bob Crane of Hogan's Heroes, Bonanza star Lauren Green, and one of Charlie's Angels, Jacqueline Smith, disc jockey Casey Kasem, Dennis Weaver, Tony Dow of Leave It to Beaver, Marcia Brady's Maureen McCormick, and June Lockhart of Lost in Space. Famous actors who also appeared earlier in their career include Scream Queen Jamie Lee Curtis, Freddy Krueger's Robert Englund, and NCIS star Mark Harmon. Also, famous rock stars like Rick Springfield and Elton John appeared on the show.
In this edition of the Hollywood Roundtable, we are discussing the success of the TV series The Hardy Boys Nancy Drew Mysteries and the changes in television and cinema from the late 70s until today.
Hi, and now for the Hollywood Roundtable. We are going to discuss Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew Mysteries. So, Angie, what do you think about the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew?
Oh, I had such a crush on Sean Cassidy when he was a kid. His hair was amazing.
I think every teenager had a crush on him in the 70s. He was very successful. I think he carried the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew Mysteries. He had actually made $15,000 a week, and that's approximately $75,000 today compared to the 70s. He also had sold more merchandise with his Hollywood. He was a Hollywood heartthrob. He sold so much merchandise. He made so much more than he did a week in the show. So he was in Time magazine, and he was selling so many posters, and girls just fell for him. He made so much money doing that.
Yeah, speaking of the 70s, I just love when I watch the show the way people were dressed, how simpler of a time it was, how cool the cars were, how it's really cool that some of the way they dressed is coming back today. But it was just a simpler time, an easier time, a less stressful time. And they were solving crimes with microscopes in their brains instead of solving crimes with all this stuff that they're using, all this extra technology. They didn't need it back then, and they still solved the problem.
Yes, they did. And the cars they drove, they look like old cars, regular cars. They don't look like cars that you plug into a wall to charge. They could stop at the gas station, pump up. They did the normal things back then that they felt free to do without being threatened by everybody around them because of the way the times are.
Right.
Yes, yes.
You know, another cool thing was that back then, when they filmed, they actually filmed outside. They weren't filming behind a green screen.
Right.
Their action was real action. It seemed difficult sometimes to run or difficult to catch the bad guy. Where, you know, these days everybody's so athletic and they always catch the bad guy and they're perfect fighters. And like back then, I mean, they had crooked teeth and messed up hair and they had, you know, their beer bellies and they were still, you know,
they did their own
crime.
stunts.
Yep.
They ran, they did their own stunts. You didn't always see things like back then. There were more ethics in the show. You didn't hear the cussing. You didn't see the gunfire like you do today.
Yeah, and they were a little more conservative. They weren't, you know, showing, they weren't flashy. They were, you know, doing all these strange things just to get ratings and attention.
Sure, but they got them with Sean Cassidy.
No joke there. So, anyway, that ends our segment of the Hollywood Roundtable. Have a good day. That now ends this edition of the Movie Nation.
We look forward to seeing you on our next episode.
I'm Anjanette Milnerich.
And I'm Jerome Turmer for Nancy Tresco. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
This is a song we worked out just this morning. Feel free to clap your hands, do whatever you feel. It's called That's Rock and Roll.
I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Come on and dance with me. Come on.
No, I can't.
I played at parties, played in bars. I spent my money buying new guitars. I screamed my heart out, but how I loved it. That's rock and roll. Well, come on, everybody, get down and get with it. Come on, everybody, get down and get with it. It doesn't matter who or what you are. Just get the rhythm and let it fill ya. That's right. Well, come on, everybody get down and get with it. Come on, everybody get down and get with it. Come on, everybody get down. That's rock and roll. Well, come on, everybody get down and get with it. Come on, everybody get down, get with it. Come on, everybody get down. Let's rock and roll. And if you feel it, clap your hands. Let's see some sweat for the boys in the band. Now let me hear ya, let me hear ya. That's right. Come on, everybody get down and get with it. Come on, everybody get down, get with it. Come on, everybody get down. Let's rock and roll. Whoa, yeah. Well, come on, everybody get down, get with it. Come on, everybody get down, get with it. Come on.